We return. We return. But with level 05 clearance. So it's just another day on the job. Hey, Clarence. Hello there, Bill. Hey, Joanne. And then we all have like a fucking alien gun on our side. Hey, welcome to the Foundation. You've clocked in. It's now time to learn about some objects. Hey, welcome back to this. It's been a long time since I've streamed some SCP Foundation. Well, okay, I have played some of the games. So that's pretty cool. But it's been a while since I've actually read the articles on the Wiki. So I think it's finally time to make a return to that. We're just going to continue the sequence from where we left off, so I think this should be a fun time. I don't know what I'm going to do moving forward. I might just like kind of try and spoil myself, or maybe I'll just find a random image. But you know me, I like to toss up a meme every once in a while, occasionally. And I don't know, I was looking earlier and I saw 2 spoilers. It's not that big. It's like, you know, what do you truly want? Do you want to be spoiled? Do you want this? Grabs you by the collar. Agent, do you want to be spoiled by what's in there? Points to a room. I probably should be, actually. You probably should, quote-unquote, spoil me to what's in there, because I don't want to die. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. That's accurate, actually. I, like, release him completely. Can you imagine how fucking insane it would be to be in this workplace? So the fact that everybody's talking about aliens recently has got me back into the swing of things with this. It's got me in the mood of it, but also it's like, it's a good enough reason to just like, come back to it, I guess. So, this should be fun. I don't know, I feel like I was taking a little too much time the last time I played this, the last time I streamed this. So, it might go a little quicker, I don't know. But as always, we start with a random one. So I think that's what I'm going to do right away, is do a random one. Hopefully this looks okay. Okay, that's the wrong source. We're off to a good start. That's me announcing the stream going live. Okay. There we go. Well, we might as well do like the original thing of pulling up the main page, right? There we go. Warning, the Foundation database is classified. Unauthorized personnel will be tracked, located, and detained. We got him. Okay, well, yeah, like I said, as always, I like to start with a random one, so I believe we'll do that. Random page. Let's see what we get. 1090. Well, I was gonna start with 190, so there you go. That works. So as always, I kind of like, I don't know how many people do this. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have tried streaming or, I don't know, just reading or whatever, this content. I tend to just play my own music from my playlist, so if it bothers you, my bad. Maybe one day I'll go through and make a different cut or something. But honestly, it helps me read, I enjoy it, and I kind of dynamically tune it too, so if it seems a little loud right now, it's probably just because I do like my intro and whatnot. Yeah, aside from that, I try to be concise and describe if I can help it, so if I have any inputs myself, or I have like a viewpoint perspective from hopefully science that I can add in, sometimes like weird metaphysics or whatever too. But that applies not only to like what I'm reading, also if there's an image that I try to describe it, it helps, you know, hard of hearing or the visually impaired, so hopefully this should have captions. I don't know about on Twitch, but the VOD certainly should on YouTube. And so that helps. I mean, I guess if you wanted like another viewpoint, then the closed captioning should help with that. Anyway. I mean, regardless, if you can hear me, that's fine too, but it's, yeah, it's kind of my inputs on this, and also it's, you know, discovery, because I grew up with this, but also I didn't read everything. I don't think anybody did unless you're fucking psycho. Alright, I mean, now it's fine. I'm saying when you're like 10 and you read all of this, what were you doing? Alright. I used to just do like a full scroll. I don't really know. I don't think there's really many jump scares. I guess I was just convinced that there would be. Anyway, yep. This is properly capturing. There we go. Alright, 1090. Item number 1090. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. The item is currently kept in a generic headphone case and can be safely stored alongside similarly contained items. Storage near non-anomalous listening devices is not recommended. The item may only be removed for approved testing. Description: 1090 has the appearance of a set of cordless headphones. Two irregularly shaped, highly polished stones, superficially resembling black basalt, are attached in place of conventional earpieces. The headband is white, with flexible joints allowing for size adjustment. A blue dot is marked with a white L, and a red dot marked with a white R are visible on the swivel joints at either end, presumably indicating left and right. It is unclear how the stones have been fused to the rest of the device, and both headband and earpieces have proven resistant to conventional cutting tools. Results from radiography of the object have been inconclusive. When a subject places 1090 over their ears in the fashion of conventional headphones, they report hearing music or distinctive sounds. This music ranges from simple melodies to paranormal auditory experiences. The device has no anomalous effect on individuals who simply touch or handle it. Reports indicate that the stones remain oddly cool to the touch. Testing suggests that the longer an individual is exposed to 1090, the more unusual and lasting the psychological and sensory aftereffects. The upper limit of exposure before permanent psychological and sensory damage has yet to be determined. New researchers are cautioned to increase the time of exposure by no more than seconds. See Dr. Rees for a proposed algorithm. As the sounds reported are so far unique to the subject wearing the device, researchers are encouraged to review Experiment Log Series 1 for details. Okay, let's see what that is. Note: Series 1 logs describe the initial series of experiments conducted by Dr. S. Blank. For ongoing experiments and data contributed by other researchers, see Series 2. Log 0102 double blank. Subjects: D-class female, age 22. Procedure: subject seated in a soundproof room and instructed to place 1090 over her ears, removing it when signaled by a red light. Duration 2 minutes. Results: subject looked surprised upon I need to get better at not doing that. I think it's been a while since I've read content. So I'm so used to just automatically that gets annoying for some people. Subject looked surprised upon placing the device over her ears, but made no... I feel like I should complete this sentence. Log 0102 double blank. Subjects: D-class female, age 22. Procedure: subject seated in a soundproof room and instructed to place 1090 over her ears, removing it when signaled by a red light. Duration 2 minutes. Results: subject looked surprised upon placing a device over her ears, but made no attempt to remove it. She appeared to be focusing intently and failed to react to the flashing red light until 10 additional seconds had passed. Subject seemed ill at ease when questioned about the experience, possibly simple nervousness. Subject described clear and pervasive music, which seemed to be playing before I put them on. It sounded like the middle of the song. The song was described as a children's choir singing in a foreign language. It was probably like Asian or something. Kinda creepy, actually. Okay. I didn't mean to turn the music down. That was an accident. Okay. Log 0102-08, double blank. Subjects: D0886, male, 38. D0423, male, 24. D1002, female, 31. And Junior Researcher M, double blank. Procedure: each subject seated in a Procedure: each subject seated in a soundproof room and instructed to place 1090 over his/her ears, removing it when signaled by a red light. In the case of D1002, a loud bell tone was substituted for the light. Duration: 2 minutes. Result: D0886 reported hearing guitars playing several melodies at once. Weird shit like Hendrix in a fucking mirror house. D0423 heard a low sustained note, like a stringed bass, followed by a melody he described as a poor bass solo, but played badly on purpose, you know? Subject seemed fixated on this idea, and would have prolonged the interview for several hours to explain himself. He loves the idea of the art form of, like, shitty on purpose. D1002. Though subject had been informed that a tone would sound to signal the end of the test, she was unresponsive to the sound, despite its loud volume. After an additional 15 seconds, the red light was flashed, and she removed the device. Subject appeared dazed and did not respond to questioning until nearly 15 minutes had passed. Subject eventually reported, "I think it was my cat. It sounded just like my cat. He was singing a song to me about fish." Note: as none of the subjects testing the item have been physically harmed, we have given M double blank permission to test it out. Dr. S blank. Junior Researcher M double blank. It was just woodpeckers. Pecking. Like at least 20 woodpeckers. Huh. Okay. Log 0204 double blank. Subjects: Dr. S blank. Procedure: as of 203 double blank, the D-class subjects of previous tests have shown no immediate or cumulative signs of injury. Dr. S blank volunteered herself as a test subject, and the original experiment was replicated without incident. Duration: 2 minutes. Results: subject reported a low, sustained drone for the first 30 seconds, which slowly increased in volume. This was reportedly accompanied by a sense of expectancy, like something important was about to happen. The subject expressed doubt that she would have removed the device in those first seconds, even if instructed to do so. She described the droning sound eventually diverging into a series of random notes, resembling electronic music. It was like normal music, I guess, with distinct notes and pauses. But it's hard to describe the sound of... No, I wouldn't really call it dread. I know dread, okay? It felt a little unsettling, like I wasn't supposed to be listening in. But at the same time, I knew if I kept listening... I don't know, I'm being vague. It's the idea of, like, you keep listening to, like, infinite perfect music or something, right? If you hear so much, it kills you from the novelty, or, like, your ears degrade. I don't know. The cochlea, like, your whatever nerve in your brain degrades. The cochlea, I say. Cochlea. Dr. S reported... Dr. S blank reported then the music faded into silence immediately before the 2-minute light flashed. She has expressed interest in repeating the experiment. Sorry, I can't really help it. Sometimes I just stumble over my tongue. Log 0205 double blank. Subjects D triple blank redacted. D2101 male 22. D4040 male 56. Procedure. Subject is seated in a room, not soundproof, and instructed to place the object over their ears. Flashing red light signals removal. Duration 8 minutes. Results. D triple blank. After the first 2 minutes, the subject was seen to raise both hands and press them over the earpieces. The subject description of the redacted. Maybe like a harmonization event? D2101. Subject displayed a reaction similar to D1002, failing to respond to the flashing light for nearly 3 minutes, and remaining in a complacent and insensible state for close to an hour after the test conclusion. Subject reported hearing wind chimes, not localized in the earpieces, but some really close and some really far away. Too far away to hear. There must have been hundreds of them. So it has some type of audio properties that are like directional or location. Like, I was just reading about this too. Is it like everybody's talking about fucking aliens? And before this disclosure thing just happened, I'm reading on Reddit because, you know, Reddit's all over it. We're talking about like gene addresses, and how like fucking insane it is, but the potentiality of aliens using it. So the same concept could apply. I mean, it's just a programming concept, if anything, or math. But the idea could apply to positional audio. You put the earbuds in and you can hear shit that's fucking unbelievably far away. Even if it's not real, you can hear like the position of it in that simulated distance. D4040. Subject displayed growing unease while wearing the device and removed it promptly when the device flashed. Subject displayed growing unease while wearing the device and removed it promptly when the light flashed. When asked to describe his experience, subject refused to say more than it was brown. Just nothing but the brown note, or? Addendum D triple blank was recently terminated while redacted. An overseeing agent alerted us that 10 hours before recorded time of death, D triple blank made several requests to use 1090. When this request was denied, D triple blank displayed considerable emotional distress. What? After the first 2 minutes, the subject was seen to raise both hands and press them over the earpieces. The subject's description of the redacted. So clearly this person either knew about it or the object drew them to it. Interesting. Addendum 0208 double blank. Both D2101 and D4040 have reported nearly identical symptoms to research personnel. It must be noted that neither subject has been allowed contact with the other since the end of their respective tests. Both report that the music they heard while wearing 1090 has been playing continuously in their heads. Unlike normal instances of cognitive itch, they claim the sounds are changing and growing progressively louder. Note: as the primary psychiatric consultant for this research team, it is my request that no further experimentation take place until a safe range of exposure is determined. Dr. Rees. Okay, so we've determined, like, the psychological effects, at least. They're efficient. They're efficient. Update 0224 double blank. A series of experiments to determine the safe range of exposure to 1090 were performed over the course of 1 week, achieving consistent results when replicated. 6 minutes and 30 6 minutes and 30 seconds has been established as the safe range of exposure, with a buffer of approximately 20 seconds. All D-Class personnel involved in testing have been placed under 30-day observation. Scheduled terminations postponed as necessary. So it seems like D triple blank there had a mission, and I'm not sure if they were raising their hands up in like surrender or like they were overwhelmed or what, but I think their cover was blown. At that moment, their cover was blown, and like they were terminated. This is probably old school Foundation, so they had no tolerance. I don't think this person was like ever going to be tolerated after they discovered that. Addendum. D2101 and D4040, subjects of preceding experiments, continue to complain of loud music. Both were observed to have trouble sleeping and spoke loudly in interviews, as if compensating for poor hearing. All subjects of the safe range tests who were exposed to the device for more than 7 minutes have since reported nearly identical symptoms. Addendum. D4040 was found deceased after a violent altercation with D3 double blank. Witness accounts. While their reliability is questionable, all made some reference to D4040's symptoms. All similarly afflicted subjects have been restricted from D-Class common areas. See Incident Report 1091. 1090-1, sorry. Alright, artifact, auditory, cognitohazard, electronic, mind-affecting, safe, sensory. Okay. I feel like we go to 1091, but no, that's not right. We go to 190. We go to 190 now. You know, if I was that far along at this point, that'd be great. I look forward to it. Hopefully one day. Alright, here's the main page again. Let's go. Alright, 190. Guess I'll scroll the whole page just for the first one. I don't know. I doubt there's like anything, but whatever. (190) Item number 190. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. 190 is kept in security locker 23 at Site 41. Children under the age of 10 are not allowed within 50 meters of 190, except under testing conditions. All personnel working at Site 41 are to be made aware of 190's secondary effect and its innocuous nature. Personnel transfer requests made due to 190's secondary effect are to be expedited, unless doing so would violate the special containment procedures for another item. All individuals who have directly interacted with 190 are to be monitored. All individuals who have directly interacted with 190 are to be monitored indefinitely for long-term side effects. Description: 190 is a carved wooden box, banded with iron, measuring 50 centimeters by 70 centimeters by 35 centimeters. The lid is carved with a representation of a large circus tent with an open central panel, within which stands a figure dressed as a stereotypical ringmaster. This links to Herman Fuller Hub. Looks like that looks like a clown / carnival thing. The carvings on the sides consist of assorted animals typically associated with circuses, including lions, tigers, bears, elephants, and horses. These carvings move at a maximum observed rate of approximately 5 millimeters per day, and the time-lapse monitoring indicates that the depicted creatures appear to be acting in a non-violent play behavior with each other. When an individual age 10 or older opens the hinged lid, 190 contains 17 marbles of assorted size and color, 2 sticks of lightly used green sidewalk chalk. I've already read this, haven't I? I have. That's right. What is this ad? Yeah, because I'm meant to go to 191. Silly that I did that. Hey, you got like a promo of the last one I did. There we go, sorry. I'm not gonna do the full scroll, I don't care. 191. My bad. It happens. Item number 191. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. 191 is currently housed in a 6 meter by 6 meter room at Site 17. To date, 191 has not made any requests for furnishings or entertainment. Current furnishings include: bullet point 1 parentheses 1. Wooden frame futon with a 15 centimeters 6 inches pad and standard cotton bed sheets and blankets. All sheets are to be sterilized each morning according to standard procedures. The futon pad itself will be replaced every 6 months, and the old pad discarded through incineration. Bullet 1 parentheses 1. Standard 220 volt Type G power outlet with an emergency cutoff box, fuse, circuit breaker, and manual non-insulating guillotine. Located outside the cell. Bullet 1 parentheses 1. Standard hazardous waste disposal unit, liquid and solid waste. All drainage tubes shall lead directly to an incinerator unit. "191 is to be dressed in loose, sleeveless garments made of 100% long staple cotton. Fresh clothing will be provided once daily, with used garments sterilized according to standard procedures. Bathing is to be done once every evening in a washtub filled with a solution of water and baking soda. Feeding in the form of a sterile saline solution supplemented with vitamins, minerals, antibiotics, and a mild anesthetic. Shall be carried out twice a day via injection into a metallic tube located in the base of the neck. 191 is capable of limited self-care, including draining waste and recharging internal batteries. A log shall be kept of power consumption and any unusual changes in power usage reported to supervising staff. Daily inspections for injury should be carried out after bathing. Should 191 require medical care, refer to documents 191 Alpha, Special Medical Needs, and 191 Alpha Supplemental, Repair of Non-Biological Components, before administering care. At least 2 armed guards are to be present in the room any time that personnel have contact with 191, although a translucent screen may be utilized for privacy purposes. Standard anti-computer countermeasures are ineffective as 191's components have been hardened against electromagnetic pulse, EMP. Description: 191 is a female human child, approximately single blank years old. It is believed to have been a test subject of several experimental surgeries performed by the late Dr. Blank Blank. See below. 1. 80% of the left half of the face and skull have been removed, with the eye and ear replaced by a complex transceiver system that allows it to receive and transmit not only visual and auditory input, but a wider spectrum of electromagnetic radiation ranging from low-frequency radio to high-energy gamma rays. The lower jaw, teeth, and larynx have been removed and replaced with data expunged. The esophagus has been rerouted to an artificial orifice at the back of the neck, feeding tube, and the trachea rerouted directly to an air filtration device. Due to these alterations, 191 is incapable of speech, although it has been reported occasionally vocalizing distress through rapid respiration. 2. An input-output device has been placed into the right forearm, replacing the radius and ulna bones. The device contains interfaces for a variety of modern and obsolete formats, including USB, Ethernet, FireWire, and DIN 8-pin, as well as 7 other interfaces corresponding to no known format. The device can be accessed by pulling back the skin cover over the right arm like a shirt sleeve. Skin cover. 3. A 24-core processor array has been implanted in the brain, which translates input from all artificial components, essentially allowing 191 to read and write computer data without the use of an external interface. Internal communication is carried out through fiber optic cables implanted through the glial cells and the entire nervous system. Damage to the brain stem and cerebellum due to the implantation procedure has severely damaged 191's motor skills. Jeez, this is like a fucking awful failed project. Like, horrific serial experiment. 4. The right hand and right foreleg have been replaced with artificial components, consisting primarily of steel, carbon fiber, and an unknown polymer-like substance. The exposed area of tissue are susceptible to injury and infection. Due to damage to the spinothalamic tract, 191 has reduced pain and temperature sensitivity in its limbs. Reconstructive surgery by Dr. Triple Blank was able to provide some relief, but regular doses of antibiotics and analgesics are still required. 5. Data expunged. 6. The lungs, heart, and major blood vessels have been replaced with mechanical analogs. It has been determined that this system would allow 191's bodily systems to be restarted after death, and may have actually data expunged. 7. The digestive system has been completely reconfigured to the point where regular food intake is both unnecessary and dangerous. Waste is now disposed of via a drainage system located in the lower back, and consists of a thick dark gray viscous slime consisting primarily of data expunged. The reproductive organs, uterus, ovaries, etc., have been removed and replaced with data expunged. According to Blank's notes, this was done to provide extra space by removing non-vital components. Hormone therapy has been proposed to counteract the long-term effects of the missing gland. This proposal is under review pending analysis of possible complications due to data expunged. 9. Data expunged. 10. At least 15 other alterations of unknown purpose. Given this fact and the haphazard integration of the useful components, it is believed that they were performed merely to test the viability of such procedures on other subjects, whose theory was pretty much right. Investigations are underway as to whether Dr. Blank was planning to data expunged. At present, any theories as to the purpose behind these alterations are speculative at least, as Dr. Blank died during the raid in which 191 was recovered. See notes below. And the only surviving records of his research are a single, half-burned spiral-bound notebook, consisting mostly of cryptic notes regarding a higher purpose. History. 191 was recovered by Foundation agents during a brief collaborative effort with the Global Occult Coalition, in which a raid was conducted on the laboratory of Dr. Blank, a suspected member of blank blank. 191 was the only test subject recovered from the laboratory. All other test subjects expired during the raid, either disposed of by Dr. Blank or eliminated as hostiles by the task force. Preliminary assessment concluded that full reconstruction was impossible, that the components introduced were too technologically advanced to risk becoming widely known, and that it could be a source of valuable data regarding data expunged if kept alive. Subject was classified 191 and moved to site double blank on double blank quadruple blank. Its disappearance and those of the other test subjects was later blamed on a local serial killer who was arranged to be killed in prison while awaiting trial. Another cover-up, another easy cover-up. Addendum 191-01. Testing of 191's abilities has commenced. Okay, this leads to another article. It says Experiment Log 191. Let's see. It's a pretty short article. We'll check it out. Psychological analysis by Dr. Glass. 191 has responded fairly well to containment. It is completely docile and cooperative, and when not being interacted with, it spends most of its time sitting still or curled up in a fetal position. This may be a sign of distress, but it is more likely for physical comfort, as normal body movements and postures are difficult. Mental acuity is questionable. Although capable of rapid data analysis and communications when physically linked to a computer system, it seems unable to follow conversations with human beings unless the conversant speaks slowly and uses simple words. Complex tasks are also impossible unless it is guided at every step. Its mood seems consistent, though somewhat inscrutable. It continually affects melancholy, will not make eye contact unless asked to, and any attempts to induce a cheerful or humorous mood have proven fruitless. However, it shows no signs of ongoing mental distress and claims, through computer interface, that it is feeling well. To date, 191 has not requested access to or information about any acquaintance it had before its abduction. That's sad. Alright, here's 191's experiment log. Note this is a test log for exploring the capabilities of 191. Please remember that 191 is a research tool, not an entertainment center. What the fuck? Wait, are you plugging her up into like a TV and you're like, hey, what games can you play? You got any games installed? You good? Any test involving games? Oh my god. It was literally the next sentence. Alright, hold it. No, this is a test log for exploring the capabilities of 191. Please remember that 191 is a research tool, not an entertainment center. Any test involving games or other recreational technology should be conducted in a professional manner, and not for amusement. Dr. Triple Blank. Subject. Blank blank paint. Or double blank paint. I don't know why I said blank blank. Subject. Double blank paint. A ubiquitous, simple drawing program. Instructions. Interface with a computer via USB port. And draw specified pictures using double blank paint. Result. 191 was instantly able to emulate the functions of a mouse and keyboard. When showed any photograph, 191 was able to reproduce it within seconds using only the pencil tool, creating copies indistinguishable from the original. After the test was recorded, it was noticed that 191 had continued drawing in additional double blank paint files. 191 appeared surprised and opened a text file on screen, claiming that it had not realized it was still drawing. What? Automatic. The following drawings were discovered. Bullet. 3 people wearing what appear to be GOC uniforms, standing in a burning office, pointing guns at a man across the room. The man is committing suicide via gunshot wound to the head, his face obscured by blood. Well, shit. Okay, she's like a fucking synth. This has a reference point. Hold on, I can't really see. Does this, can you see? No, okay, I gotta flip to the other view. Footnote 1. Agent Quadruple Blank, who participated in the raid in which 191 was acquired, identified this as the death of Dr. Blank Blank, 191's creator. Okay. Bullet. An adult and child trick-or-treating. The child is a girl wearing makeup similar to that worn by Boris Karloff in Frankenstein, and the adult date expunged. Are we watching like Frankenstein together? Bullet. Data expunged. This is another reference, or a footnote, excuse me. Sorry, it's been a while since I've read these. Footnote 2. 191 was once again asked if it was really feeling well, and once again replied, via text file, that it was fine and that the expunged didn't mean anything. Okay. Either denial or, like, I don't know. Maybe legit nothing. Subject. The video game blank blank single blank colon blank. Instructions. Attempt to emulate the functions of a Wiimote and play a video game. Excuse me? What game would this be? Result. Test began poorly as 191's impaired motor skills caused it to snap the disc in two before it could place it in the console. 191 became distressed. It then stared at the disc and the red light from its eye changed to green for a moment. When Dr. Triple Blank returned with a fresh disc, less than 2 minutes had passed. The game was already running on the machine. Dr. Triple Blank inquired as to how that had happened, and a message appeared on the screen saying, I looked at the ones and the zeros and I loaded those in. I'm sorry, I know I'm not supposed to do it this way, but I didn't want you to waste a disc. Please don't be angry. 191 still seemed fearful of reprimand, even after being reassured that it was doing excellently. 191 made a perfect run through of the game, despite the fact that it did not make any physical movements consistent with the Wii controls. Subject. Bullet. Triple blank, triple blank, triple blank. A well-known video game... excuse me. It's probably Sony Vegas Pro. Subject. Bullet. Triple blank... I can't fucking read. Subject. Bullet point. Blank, blank, blank. A well-known video effects program. Bullet. A 40-second video file from a security camera located in the employee cafeteria. Instructions. Perform a series of video enhancement techniques used by forensic detectives on the popular television drama blank period blank period blank period. Techniques that cannot actually be done in reality. Okay. Bullet. Zoom and enhance. 191 was instructed to zoom in on the window over the parking lot and render the license plates on cars, which were illegible from this distance. The actual license plates had been photographed for reference. Bullet. Uncrop. 191 was asked to shrink the video by 100 pixels on every side and fill in the blank space with what it believed the rest of the cafeteria looked like. Again, data that was not actually available in the video. I'm not going to be surprised if I find like stellar results. Bullet. Rotate camera. 191 was informed of the exact location and angle of the other security camera in the cafeteria and asked to render the scene as viewed from that angle. Filling in the parts that the current camera did not see, the actual footage from the second camera was The actual footage from the second camera was requisitioned and held for reference. So either the instantiation of creating the footage, the fact that the camera's there and you can create like a, basically AI 49.999 repeating % recreation of the transverse side, or whatever the fuck else. Just like ideologic generation. I will not be surprised if this worked. Result, 191 could not understand the instructions at first. Dr. Triple Blank had to provide a lengthy explanation, and then stand behind 191 and give it instructions one step at a time. It was several minutes before the test could even begin. It's probably good we didn't show like episodes of the TV show. That would be like immensely confusing. However, once 191 actually got started, the videos and frames were finished in less than 7 minutes, of which at least 3 were spent watching the rendering progress bar. Bullet. Zoom and enhance test. 191 successfully rendered close-ups of the license plates, complete with photorealistic scratches and dents. However, the plates were found to not match the license plates on the vehicles. However, the plates were found not to match the license plates on the vehicles. So this is just raw AI generation. We do this. 191 typed, the data wasn't there, so I had to guess. Accurate, accurate. This has a footnote. Footnote 3. The actual license plates were quadruple blank, quadruple blank, quadruple blank, quadruple blank, quadruple blank, quadruple blank, and quadruple blank, quadruple blank. The license plates generated by 191 were I am 191. Okay, it's triple blanks, I guess. So it's a series of 4 triple blank times 2 license plates. This must be like an EU location or something, I don't know. The license plates generated by 191 were I am 191, 191 ISA, 600 DMA, and CHI 930. 600 DMA, that sounds like a computer reference, like programming. CHI 930, that must be just a raw object. I don't know. Bullet. Uncrop test. 191 expanded the video canvas and filling in what was in the blank space, rendering the extra image seamlessly. It did not match the actual cafeteria, but once again, the data was not in the video file and 191 had been forced to guess. Again, just great AI generation examples. Bullet. Rotate camera test. The generated video matched the angle of the second camera perfectly, and almost everything visible from the angle of C1 matched the scene in C2 very closely. As before, places not visible were very different. One table only visible in C2 that had been seating redacted was now in the generated video, seating Dr. Triple Blank and Agent Quadruple Blank, the attending doctor and agent supervising 191, eating lunch and talking. Footnote 4. A lip reader was brought in to decipher what Dr. Triple Blank and Agent Quadruple Blank were saying in the simulation video. Data expunged. The real Dr. Triple Blank became uncomfortable upon learning what 191 had depicted her saying to Agent Quadruple Blank. The real Agent Quadruple Blank declined to comment. Okay, so it could be like machine learning. It could be... Okay, let's take this a step further back. The recorded video viewpoint of the real camera, even if it's like in a machine that has no way of accessing the internet, still, this computer could access the microprocessor somehow and retrieve the files, right? Even if it's just like, I can air gap, see, whatever storage mechanism, even if it's like stored live on the processor, and it's an RTOS or whatever. Just by like heat or like air or electromagnetism or whatever, like IR, you might be able to see just the fragments of data on the processor. From there, you could probably guess. Even if you can't read the data perfectly, you could guess from like the fluctuations in the waveform of whatever heat distribution's going on or whatever semi-vibration happens on the microprocessor, whatever you like have the file there. The point is, even if you can't physically see it perfectly, even if you just see like a 75% image of it, the machine rendering of the view of that file from like this abstracted viewpoint will be like rendered somewhat accurately. So it's a question of like, was this obtained or was this full random generated? And so the footnote further this bullet point and like the further input of it with the footnote further posits like, okay, was this learned, or did we like full on from this generation something was like gleaned? Where it's like, oh yeah, today you're gonna go to the movies with your boyfriend, and like nobody knew that. Nobody knew that. Like it was an idea in the head. Nobody was even told. And it was like, oh, that freaked me the fuck out, So that could be something very novel there, I'm not sure. Anyway. Although there were many visual differences between the original videos and 191's copies, Many on-site personnel were unable to determine which ones were the forgeries. Interesting. Experiment supplement. Alright. Let's go. On to 192. In fact, I don't even know why I show like this corner. What's up? We changed the layout a little bit. Okay. Item number 192. Level 1, unrestricted. Containment class, safe. Disruption class, dark. 1. Risk class, notice, 1. Containment procedures have been updated as per successful move operation 192M 14716072220 from site _A. Please see Addendum 192MD for historical information. Special containment procedures. 192 is safely contained within 192F. 192F is located in room 9-24, a standard Foundation Grade R secure room rated for radioactive objects in Site 125A's north wing. Room 9-24 must always have at least 4 functioning Geiger counters. An inspection of room 9-24's radiation proofing and the Geiger counters must be carried out fortnightly. The housing for 192 must not be breached under any circumstances. Removal of any section of external casing of 192F must only be carried out during scheduled weekly maintenance by Level 2 staff under the supervision of a Level 3 assigned to this floor. Any breaches in the casing of 192F must be reported to Site 125A Facilities Management. Any breaches in the housing of 192 must be treated as a radioactive object containment breach as defined by Foundation and Site 125A guidelines, and a full evacuation of North Wing will be carried out by all staff. Please see Document 192CU for cleanup and recontainment instructions based on current object analysis. Access to the room containing 192F for testing purposes can be granted by written request to Site 125A administration staff, but will require the approval of at least one Level 3 assigned to the 9th floor. This member of staff must be present for all testing. Addendum 192MD. Archive Containment Procedures. 192 is to be maintained in lockdown at its current location at Blank Hospital, United Kingdom. What is that? Site _A. Pending further analysis. The room containing 192 is to remain locked, with the key in the possession of Dr. Blank Blank. Anyone wishing to conduct experiments with 192 must have permission from the relevant Level 3 personnel assigned to this object. The hospital wing that houses 192 is to remain closed, pending engineering work to stabilize the hospital buildings. The housing for 192 must not be breached under any circumstances and must be checked on a weekly basis. Maintenance will be carried out weekly. Description: 192 is a vacuum X-ray tube that forms the primary component of a diagnostic X-ray machine manufactured by Blank on _20 with diagnostic use commencing on _20 This machine was This machine was designated 192-1. When an image is produced by a machine with 192 inside, the area examined on the subject will be modified via unknown means to match the image eventually produced. This has the effect of introducing or removing injuries or disease from the subject in accordance with the image. So it's like a copying holography. We're talking about imagery, but we say subjects. So X-ray machine with holographic object transmission. Because, I mean, I don't know. X-ray I don't know. 192 emits a high quantity of alpha and beta. 192 emits a high quantity of alpha and beta radiation, exceeding recommended annual dose limits for Foundation personnel within 1 minute of constant exposure. These emissions are present even when 192 is not being used and disconnected from any sort of power supply. This is believed to be due to the materials used in the construction of 192's cathode, based on current working theories. Strikethrough. 192-1 appears to absorb this radiation emission, although all testing performed so far on 192-1 has shown it to be constructed out of regular materials for this kind of machine, on strikethrough. Maintenance update. Double blank 2014. Containment of 192 by 192-1 has shown to be Containment of 192 by 192-1 has shown to not be complete. Imperfections in the manufacturing process, combined with initial testing conducted by Site A, have weakened 192-1's casing. A request for relocation of 192 and a re-evaluation has been submitted to Regional Command. Site update 05-2014. 192M 14716072220 was successfully carried out on 05-2014. All Foundation staff at Site A have been transferred to Site 125A, and Site 25... Why did I see... what? I just saw a number over the blank number. All Foundation staff at Site A have been transferred to Site 125A, and Site A has been decommissioned. 192F, a Foundation-constructed replica of 192-1, was constructed at Data Redacted and installed at Site 125A prior to the move operation. Actual radiation doses during regular operation of 192-1 were within standard safety margins, and this remains the case with 192-F. The presence of 192 was discovered by Dr. Blank, a covert Foundation operative tracking SCP triple blank in Data Redacted. Dr. Blank was requested to be present during the initial examinations performed by 192-1, and was the first staff member at Blank Hospital to witness its effects. Dr. Blank notified the Foundation, and the other 3 non-Foundation staff present were successfully given Class A amnestics. A research team was subsequently sent in, and the room containing 192-1 was quarantined. Results of the investigation into the origin of 192 can be reviewed in document 192I double blank. From testing of 192, the following outcomes have been noted to occur with no consistent pattern. Any change in a subject appears to occur approximately 3 seconds after the X-ray image is taken. This is a table. There's 2 things: image result and effect. Image clear of any disease or injury. Effect: subject is fully treated with no further issues or complications. Presence of a trauma-induced fracture injury of considerable displacement. Image bone is fractured to an identical level of displacement. These injuries always appear to have occurred within the last 24 hours, even in subjects who had been isolated before the examination. So far, 192 has not produced any images where bones have perforated internal organs or penetrated the subject's skin. So it creates something new every time, I guess, or the image replicated is similar. And it grows in complexity every image in similarity. Presence of cancerous cells within the area examined. Subject will show development of a cancerous growth in this area. These tumors have never exceeded T1N0M0. Footnote. Footnote 1, TNM staging system for malignant tumors. But in all cases have been malignant. Biopsies on several subjects have shown no differences between cancer caused by 192 and cancer occurring naturally in humans. Success of subsequent treatment has been dependent on the original location of the cancer. That's fucked. Presence of foreign body located inside the subject. Foreign body will be found within the subject. Foreign body will be found within subject if further surgery is performed. The object appears to be random, but is usually a surgical tool for performing operations on the examined area. No departments within Site A have reported any odd disappearances of surgical or other medical equipment. During one test to determine if 192 could be used as a means of treatment by repeating an examination on an already examined subject, 192 produced a blurry image, which had the resulting effect of data expunged, almost instantly killing subject D192-03 single blank. See Incident Report 192-03 single blank -02. The personnel operating 192 during this test were referred for immediate psychiatric evaluation. Yeah, that's pretty smart. Like a fucking blurry X-ray image would probably cause catastrophic effects in this circumstance. You fucking idiot! Radioactive, safe, telekinetic, tool, visual. Very interesting. Very interesting. Alright. What's up, homie? Just got home. Hey. We're returning to reading the Foundation Wiki. And what's up with me? I just went to the bathroom. I tried to pull my earbuds out of my ear, and got stuck in my ear canal. The earbud, like the squishy rubber. That's the second time that's happened, like the past, 2 months, 3 months, whatever time span it's been. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of, the first time it happened, I was like, oh no. Because I tried to dig it out really hard. I didn't have a fingernail proper to, pull it. Not like a grip strength, at least, fingernail. So you push it further into your ear canal, and then you go, oh fuck. Oh fuck. I don't even know what happened, but I managed to get it out, and then this time I'm like, no, you're not doing that to me again. You're not doing that again. Stop. Stop it. Get some help. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, I'm asked the same thing. How the fuck? Let's move on. You okay though? Yeah, I'm good. First time though, I was sitting there for a good 15 minutes, what the fuck? Do I clench my ears? What's going on with my muscles? Is that what it is? Squeeze the thing stuck in there. Alright. 193. Item number 193. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. 191-03 is to be contained in Biosite 42 Biohazard Locker 532F at all times, except during approved experiments. Every 24 hours, all instances of 193-02 are to be removed from 190... it's confusing nomenclature. I'm just going to restart this one. Special containment procedures. 193-01 is to be contained in Biosite 42 Biohazard Locker 532F at all times, except during approved experiments. Every 24 hours, all instances of 193-02 are to be removed from 193-01 and incinerated except on feeding days. Once each week, one instance of 193-02 shall be provided with 30 cc's of human mucus and left in containment with 193-01. Physical contact with any element of 193 without full level 2 biohazard gear is strongly discouraged. Personnel believed to be suffering from exposure to 193-03 shall report to a supervisor for immediate medical examination and assistance. Hey, I'm glad you're home. I hope you're able to relax. Excuse me. Description. 193-01 is consistent in external Description. 193-01 is consistent in external appearance with a box of blank, brand facial tissue. The bottom folds of the box are abnormally complex and house a previously unknown soft-bodied invertebrate. The creature's genetics suggest that it is a member of phylum Mollusca, but do not match any more specific known taxonomic classification, or taxonomic. The cardboard of the box has proven to be a highly specialized shell generated and maintained by the organism, which will gradually repair damage to the box if able. As compared with cardboard, the shell is many times less flammable and more durable, but is by no means indestructible. This reminds me of like the TARDIS chronoplasm. We've talked about this before, but chronoplasm is a lot stronger, so. Car ride was long, but I'm home and my back and ass are in pain. Doesn't that feel accurate? I'm like completely hunching forward. I really should just like be arching out my chest. But you know, the reading viewing angle, and I'm like, yeah, my back's gonna hurt. 193-01 continuously sheds thin segments of its body, instances of 193-02, at a rate of strike-through, roughly 1 unstrike-through, up to 5 segments per 24 hours, depending on available nutrients and remaining space inside the shell. Instances of 193-02 are gradually forced into the main cavity of the shell, where they dry almost instantly. Much as the shell of 193-01 resembles a cardboard box, instances of 193-02 resemble common facial tissue in appearance and texture. However, both the shell and the segments are composed of chitin, fibroin, and other proteins common in mollusks as opposed to the expected paper products. Strike-through. How 193-01 produces sufficient matter to maintain the shell and continuously generate 193-02 is presently unknown, unstrike-through. See Addendum 193-1. When 193-02 is brought into contact with the mucous membranes of any mammalian subject, the segment releases 3 to 5 grams of an as of yet unidentified odorless, colorless gas, 193-03. If inhaled, 193-03 will permeate the sinus tissue and increase mucus production by 500 to 800%. In humans, the increased mucus production unsurprisingly results in the need for additional facial tissue, typically leading to further exposure to 193-02 and 03, and further mucus production. Repeated exposure to 193-03 can, in roughly 70% of cases, lead to permanent dysfunction of a subject's mucus production. Holy shit. The resulting symptoms vary, but include a variety of respiratory issues, prolonged pneumonia, and in extreme cases, suffocation. The resulting symptoms vary, but include a variety of respiratory issues, prolonged pneumonia, and in extreme cases, suffocation. In roughly 10% of cases of repeated exposure, the opposite effect is observed. Damage to the mucus glands is so severe that the subject is left incapable of mucus production. Such subjects are especially vulnerable to inflammatory respiratory diseases, infection, and damage to the lungs due to inhalation of particulate matter. What the fuck? Sorry, I didn't mean to lower the music again. I keep doing that. I expect like Linux-style hovering with Windows, and it never fucking works that way. Strike through. No explanation has yet been discovered for the unusual adaptations exhibited in 193. Research is ongoing. Unstrike through. Addendum 193-1. As of double blank, quadruple blank, Dr. Blank has confirmed additional properties of 193-02. When exposed to at least 10 cc's of mucus and left unattended, instances of 193-02 will attempt to return to 193-01 using a combination of bodily oscillation and gas propulsion via controlled emission of 193-03. These segments appear to detect possible observers via body heat to determine when they can safely return to 193-01 unobserved. This behavior continues in the presence of thoroughly insulated observers, but not in the presence of large artificial heat sources, supporting the theory that 193-02 detects heat. On reaching 193-01, instances of 193-02 will enter through folds in the bottom of the shell, reintegrating with the main body. These behaviors, combined with the previously cataloged adaptations, are believed to be the hunting and feeding method of 193. More detailed research into the digestion and dietary needs of the organism are ongoing. The locomotion of 193-02 was discovered following an irregularity in experiment 193-double blank, in which several of the used tissues were left unattended for several minutes. When Dr. Blank returned, he discovered that these instances of 193-02 had surrounded the locker holding 193-01, but were unable to penetrate containment. Further experimentation led to the discovery of these previously unknown aspects of the organism. Dr. Blank has been reprimanded for leaving a known organic SCP unsupervised in a testing chamber. Wow, okay. So I feel like this calls forward to something. We had to completely negate the existence of 193-double blank. I'm going to go ahead and hazard a guess that's either 00 or like a much higher number. And that, like, before this experiment was fully even documented, this must be like the carcass organism of some further higher creature. And it's like some, alien hominid. It's some human-like creature or whatever, but it feeds off of mucus. And it was being researched because of, its effects. Like, 10% destroys 70%, like, fucking, you can't produce mucus anymore, but it's like a symbiote, whatever. It's interesting, but it's also super fucking hyper weird. Alive, artifact, invertebrate, safe. I don't know if safe is necessarily true. It fucking, like, eats the mucous membrane. I guess. Sure, if you want to go that far. He said alien hominid. Exactly. 194. Item number 194. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. 194 is contained in a standard anomalous vehicle containment unit. Description. 194 is a red-painted rowboat designed to seat 2 people. Addenda 194A-194C. Documentation of 194-Z. What? Okay. Addendum 194A, Object Class Euclid. Addendum 194B, Special Containment Procedures. The object presently designated 194 is contained in a concrete mausoleum located in New Orleans Cemetery, the location of which is included in attached file 194 LOCA. The mausoleum is to be checked for damage or deterioration once every 30 days. Any reality restructuring effects of 194 which appear to impact the space outside of it should be reported to containment staff. Due to the effects of 194Z upon the 194 designation, the acting documentation of 194Z is presented in the form of various addenda to the acting 194 designation. Any secondary classifications are to be assigned in reverse alphabetical order, i.e. 194Z, and all addenda are to be assigned alphabetically rather than numerically, i.e. addendum 194A, as to prevent conflict with documentation applied to the 194 designation. Despite changes to the 194 designation, addenda 194A through 194C describe the true nature of 194Z and will remain unaltered regardless of other edits. This is fucking awesome. This is like some Z set theory calculus. I love it. I love it. Addendum 194 description. 194Z refers to a phenomenon surrounding the 194 designation. Various objects are assigned to the 194 designation at various times, causing the 194 file to be altered based on the affected object. Only one object can be assigned to the 194 slot at any time, causing minor retroactive alterations to support the containment of each object in Foundation custody. Notably, most affected objects assigned to the 194 designation are non-anomalous in nature. Let's fucking go. This is, every copy is personalized, but it's also reality bending. So it's like I mean, I'm looking at the tags right now, but this is very meta. D and E. So if I could give these codon terms, like, you know, lexical argument operators for this calculus, I would say D is like, we got an objective observer who can work on the C calculus, right? The descriptor here. And then we got an E editor, which I think, given editor terms, editor for me is more like, what's the actual word I'm looking for? Exception? But not exception, like engineer. I feel like that fits EI and EO. Whereas D is just DC, or like, you know, I don't know. Whatever D does. I'm looking at like a different branch of calculus or whatever. I'm looking at like an ideologic here. Addendum 194D, CCTV footage. The following is a transcript of CCTV recording 139 DC 732, taken 04/23/2019 in Site 139. No relevant video was recorded, only audio. Okay. Subject 1, hey. Subject 2, oh hey. From now on, I'm just gonna say 1, 2. 1. So, on Tuesday, 2, something came up. 1. Well, okay, would you like to, 2. You know, I'm really busy these days. It makes it kind of tough to, you know, be social. 1. 2. So, like, I appreciate it. Like, I appreciate you, my coworker, wanting to socialize with me as coworkers outside of work. But sometimes it's just not gonna happen. You get that, right? 1. Well, I mean, I guess I thought... 2. We are coworkers, Garth. I was under the impression this was going to be a friendly after-work chit-chat, and your texts... 1. Oh, I was just playing around, you know it. 2. No, it's not really. 3. Excuse me, Laura, do you have a second? 2. Yeah, footsteps. Okay. Addendum 194E, testing logs. I guess I skipped for, like, record. I didn't say subject 3, I just said 3, but whatever. If you want me to be concise, 3 was subject 3. Addendum 194E, testing logs. This links to a different... What? This links to something different. Hold on, what? Offset 1. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to 194's main page. We got some funky programming. Okay. This is, the URL is just the same URL, but it's /offset/1. Hey, Tyler. When you said rowboat and New Orleans, the first thing I thought of was Witch Doctor Rowboat. What is that? Alright, so we've sort of declassified some of this, I guess. 194 has different variations, I guess, so we've offset the variation, we've reality bended it, I guess. Or at least I have. I don't know about you, you're witnessing my reality bending. I do have 05 clearance. Item number 194, Object Class Safe, Special Containment Procedures. 194 is contained in a standard anomalous object locker. Description: 194 is an artist's easel with 4 paintbrushes in a small cup attached to its side. Addenda 194A-194C. Documentation of 194Z. Okay. Addendum 194A, Object Class Euclid. Addendum 194B, Special Containment Procedures. The object presently designated 194 is contained in a concrete mausoleum located in New Orleans Cemetery, the location of which is included in attached file 194 LOCA. The mausoleum is to be checked for damage or deterioration once every 30 days. Any reality restructuring effects of 194, which appear to impact the space outside of it, should be reported to containment staff. Due to the effects of 194Z, upon the 194 designation, the acting documentation of 194Z is presented in the form of various addenda to the acting 194 designation. Any secondary classifications are to be assigned in reverse alphabetical order, i.e. 194Z, and all addenda are to be designated alphabetically rather than numerically, i.e. Addendum 194A. This is to prevent conflict with documentation applied to the 194 designation. Despite changes to the 194 designation, Addenda 194A through 194C describe the true nature of 194Z, and will remain unaltered regardless of other edits. Addendum 194C Description: 194Z refers to a phenomenon surrounding the 194 designation. Various objects are assigned to the 194 designation at various times, causing the 194 file to be altered based on the altered object. Various objects are assigned to the 194 designation at various times, causing the 194 file to be altered based on the affected object. Only one object can be assigned to the 194 slot at any time, causing minor retroactive alterations to support the containment of each object in Foundation custody. So this is like random generation meta objects that get contained instantly. If I look back at the other one, is it the same thing? That's a rowboat. That's a red rowboat. Imagine an SCP that is the GTA 4 swings. I wouldn't be surprised if it exists. I wouldn't be surprised. Notably, most affected objects assigned to the 194 designation are non-anomalous in nature. Addendum 194D Relevant Emails. I just wanted to be thorough. To Richard G. From Human Resources. Resources. Love that. I love when my brain does that. It's great. Nice. Thank you, mind. To Richard G. From Human Resources. Subject: Complaint. This email is to inform you that a personal complaint has been filed against you for recent behavior. You're required to meet with our office within the next 7 days. Please respond to this email with at least 3 dates and times you are available for a 1-hour meeting. Thank you for your cooperation. To Richard G. From Site 139 Security Supervisor. Subject: Questions. Hello, I am Hello, I am emailing concerning a recent audit of clearance logs for 194. It appears you or someone with your credentials may have utilized your credentials to gain access to 194. Please contact our office immediately. Thank you for your cooperation, JR. To Richard G. From Personnel Director. Subject Notice. Due to recent events, I would like to inform you that you are being transferred to Site 402, effective this coming Friday. Please resolve all pending matters before this date. Replies to this email will go unanswered. Thanks for your cooperation, Jim. Addendum 194E. Field Operations Log. Okay. We've completely gone further into the depth calculus here. I will just move to 195 on this page. Okay. Item number 194, Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. 194 is contained in a special anomalous object locker. Description: 194 is a regulation size volleyball. Addenda 194A through 194C. Documentation of 194Z. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. It seems to be a copy of what was before. Contained in a New Orleans concrete mausoleum. Location LOCA file in 194. Damage check for deterioration every 30 days. Yep, it seems to just be the typical read-through. I mean, I feel like I'm going to be thorough anyway, whatever. Addendum 194A, Object Class Euclid. Addendum 194B, Special Containment Procedures. The object presently designated 194 is contained in a concrete mausoleum located in a New Orleans cemetery, the location of which is included in an attached file 194 LOCA. The mausoleum is to be checked for damage or deterioration once every 30 days. Any reality restructuring effects of 194 which appear to impact the space outside of it should be reported to containment staff. Due to the effects of 194Z upon 194 designation, the acting documentation of 194Z is presented in the form of various addenda to the acting 194 designation. Any secondary classifications are to be assigned in reverse alphabetical order, i.e. 194Z, and all addenda are to be designated alphabetically rather than numerically, i.e. addenda 194A, is to prevent conflict with documentation applied to the 194 designation. Despite changes to the 194 designation, addenda 194A through C describe the true nature of 194Z and will remain unaltered regardless of other edits. Addenda 194C description. 194Z refers to a phenomenon surrounding 194 designation. Various objects are assigned to the 194 designation at various times, causing the 194 file to be altered based on the affected object. Only one object can be assigned to the 194 slot at any time, causing minor retroactive alterations to support the containment of each object in Foundation custody. Notably, most affected objects are assigned to the 194 designation are non-anomalous in nature. I think this is kind of like a prefab, but it's also sort of commenting on the cyclical, recursive nature of this. Okay, Addendum 194D inserted data. From here on out, if it looks exactly 1-to-1, I'm skipping it. Just for this. On 04/23/2019, 194 document underwent a period of accelerated flux before returning to normal stabilization. The following text was found in a digital document inserted into the 194 file. 194 note: Dear Laura, I still like you and I want something to happen between us. I know you think I don't care, and I know you think I don't care and that I don't think about people, but I really, really do. And I care about you most of all. To prove it, I'm going to make something for you. A collage of all the amazing things about you. to show what a unique and amazing person you are. Addendum 194E, SMS text. It's never gonna happen, Garth. Take your crap and just leave me alone, please. Please don't make me take drastic action. Addendum 194F, police record. Case number 194173. Subject Richard G. Date 08/22/2016. Reporting officer Carter Jerem. Incident. Subject entered a Incident. God. Incident. Subject entered a shopping center around 11 a.m. and entered Sears department store. At around 12 noon, the individual was seen running out of the store, being chased by a member of the store security team. Officer Carter apprehended the subject, who was carrying jewelry, art supplies, and a volleyball on his person. Suspect was unable to provide proof of purchase and was held for questioning and in the store security office. Actions taken. Suspect has been given a court summons for 11 a.m. on 09/02/2016. As he was cooperative to officers, suspect was not taken into custody. Addendum 194G, 194 LOCA. Keeps looping. Okay. 194. Item number 194, Object Class Safe, Special Containment Procedures. 194 is contained in a standard computer file. Description: 194 is a document with various mathematical equations and symbols written upon it. Addenda 194A through 194C, documentation of 194Z. There you go. It seems to be pretty much similar. Let's see. Yep. This is part of Addendum 194C description. Notably, most affected objects assigned to the 194 designation are non-anomalous in nature. No known connection between these items exists, and how they came to be in Foundation custody is unknown. All associated objects exhibit high levels of dimensional instability. Okay. So we had to, read a little further to find that out. But it's at the end of Addendum 194C in /offset/3. Addendum 194D, Reconnaissance Report, Excerpt. Field agents designated Zulu Niner and Bravo Delta were dispatched to Our Lady of Repentance Cemetery in New Orleans Parish due to a radio signal emanating from the location. Attached, Addendum 194G. On arrival, agents found the mausoleum and the attached report open. Inside, they discovered the mummified remains of a human male in contemporary clothing. Identification cards identified him as Garth Richard, but no records of said person can be found. Subject's wallet also included contact information for Foundation researcher Laura Kane, but after questioning, she indicates she has no recollection. Subject's wallet also included contact information for Foundation researcher Laura Kane, but after questioning, she indicates she has no recollection of the deceased subject. Another great example of just some person coming up to an agent and dying, pretty much. And they're like, I actually know you. Addendum 194E, Hypothesized Effects, Audio Transcript. Researcher Laura Kane, regarding 194. 04-23-2019. The restructuring effects of the object appear to have caused a change in baseline reality configuration. 194 appears otherwise unchanged, and its anomalous effects have returned to normal. I'm currently researching what triggered the effect. Addendum 194F. Transmission from 194 LOCA. Richard G. Knew you'd come back. Richard G. Knew you'd come to check on it. Kane L. You don't have authorization to be here. I heard yours got revoked. Richard G. Well, Kane L. Oh my god, did you steal my authorization code? Richard G. It was Richard G. It was the only way to Kane L. Get away from me, Garth. Richard G. No, wait, listen. Kane L. No, stop. A brief thump is heard. Kane L. Oh no. End transmission. Addendum 194G debrief. Addendum 194G debrief excerpt. Interviewer. Internal Affairs Agent number 01-2204. Subject Kane Laura. Date 04-24-2019. Interviewer. And you've listened to the audio of 194 LOCA, right? Subject. I did. Interviewer. In your opinion, whose voice? Subject. Mine. Interviewer. What is your opinion on what happened? Subject. She was cornered and reacted. She, defended herself. Interviewer. Killed him, you mean? Subject. Yes. Interviewer. With the only things available to her at the time. Subject. Yes. Interviewer. Which would have been... Subject. 194. Interviewer. And what are your thoughts on the matter? Long pause. Subject. You want me to say that she, or I, made the wrong decision, but I don't think that. Interviewer. What do you think? Subject. That whatever reality Garth is from doesn't have him in it, and neither does ours. Interviewer. All right. That about wraps this up. Thank you for your cooperation. Subject. What? Interviewer. Subject. Sorry, nothing. Wow, that's a very cut and dry, candid ending to that. I really enjoyed that. That was good. I'm gonna click 195. Maybe we get like an Easter egg. I don't know. Co-authored concept meta reality. Excuse me. Co-authored concept meta reality bending safe. I don't know if safe is really fitting there. She killed a man with it, so if it's contained, sure. But if you accidentally shoot someone in self-defense with it, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. 195. Item number 195. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. One case containing 17 bottles of 195 exists in Foundation custody. It is kept in a number 3 secure containment locker unit in the safe class storage section of Site 1279. Access to 195 requires written authorization from no fewer than 2 Level 4 personnel, and accompaniment by a member of Site security. Due to the untested possibility of exposure due to the inhalation of evaporated 195, access requires full Level C hazmat kit, including respirator gear. It is possible that further instances of 195 exist. All recovery agents are advised to make note of bottles of similar style or bearing similar labels to contain samples of 195, as well as redacted. Should further instances of 195 be discovered, they are to be collected by a temporary containment team in full hazmat kit, including respirators. Oops. Sorry. Description. 195 is a medicinal whiskey sold by a pair of traveling salesmen in the pre-Civil War South. Various historical sources agree that the whiskey was targeted primarily to the slave catchers of that area,
area, I say. Fucking God. Various historical sources agree that the whiskey was targeted primarily to the slave catchers of that era, and was advertised as having mind-enhancing properties. These sources agree that the salesmen were often driven out of town when the side effects of their concoction were discovered, and were hanged for their devilish ways, sick, on at least 2 occasions. Source. Yeah, what the fuck does sick mean again? It's like, is source not fully included or whatever? Source incomplete, I think, right? When a subject consumes any quantity of 195, they will initially react in a manner consistent with the consumption of an equal quantity of gut rot, whiskey, or moonshine. Within a short span of time frame varies by subject, they begin to experience heightened awareness and increased sensory input, taste, touch, smell, etc. The effect of the whiskey was advertised by its salesman and was the reason for its target audience. With this heightened sensory capability, however, comes a general decrease in impulse control. With this heightened sensory capability, however, comes a general decrease in impulse control and heightened fight or flight response, which has, in testing, been shown to lead to markedly increased levels of violent behavior. This response is theorized to explain the brutality shown by data expunged. D-Class under the effect of 195 were capable of and willing to data expunged to enjoy the violence of the act. D-183578. First degree murder, rape, terminated. Expressed a desire to rip the blank's head off with my teeth. Sick. The fuck? Further testing on the capacities of 195 is deemed unnecessary. Late research assistant Renfield has posthumously awarded a Foundation citation for performance above and beyond the requirements of duty. After the whiskey's effects wear off, the test subjects will generally return to normal, with the exception of those who data expunged. Within a month, however, all subjects will experience a generalized feeling of ennui coupled with fatigue. MRI scans at this stage show development of ulcer-like wounds in the stomach and lungs. These continue to spread indefinitely until the death of the subject. Additionally, the subject's skin and muscle structure begins to degrade, particularly around points of stress or motion. This degradation also continues indefinitely or until the death of the subject. This is like a fucking hyper rage hunting potion. Makes you a super hunter, but then you die. Okay, we have an image for this one. The caption says D12322 Protocol 12, 1 month after consuming a bottle of 195. This is an image. The name of the image is acidface.jpg. Okay. How does this work again? Oh, it is. Duh. Okay, it appears to be a child, or like, maybe, an albino woman who's very thin. I think it's more likely to be a young male child. It looks like they have what appears to be piercings in their ears, so I don't know. It's quite hard to tell. It could be like gauges, as in plugs, or maybe it's, I don't know, dirt. It could be an AI generated image. I don't know. I'm looking at it from the side because I might have to rotate it to fully see it. But the image appears to be a bald young child laying on, I don't know, Looks like a fucking bathroom cloth. You know, like you set your feet on it, but it's probably, you know, just a bed. Child appears to be laying on cloth. The cloth is like a slight light gray, and you can see the shadow of their neck. The back of their neck appears to be grayish and has like, I don't know, creases from what looks like not showering or just dirty or, I don't know, degradation of the skin. Like I said, the ear appears to have some type of piercing or something. But the lobe structure is either no longer present, damaged, or just the image quality is kind of odd. I think that it's probably just the image is odd. It looks kind of like, you know, low quality, blurry. On their forehead appears to be what looks like some very odd incision mark, potentially, or maybe a place where something like, you know, some medical thing, you know, like a bandage with an IV between it, may have been placed for a long time. So maybe that's like a marking from that. It does appear to have, they look like they have a bruise from that mark. So I don't know, maybe. But they have a bald head. That's all you can really tell from there. They look like they have albinism, potentially, but maybe that's an effect of this. Either way, their eyebrow is very, very light white, if not just very, like, bleach blonde. The eyes look almost like this person got into a fight, and they got punched in the eye and got a black eye. Very, like, red to purple hues. And the inner area towards the nose is very, like, grayish meat, like, you know, this meat is not good for cooking anymore. You might want to throw it out, that color. Their nose seems fine, but kind of, what's the word? Kind of mucusy, like a lot of snot or something. Same with the upper area of the mouth. The major feature here, the chin seems fine, albeit like gray and pasty maybe, or maybe it's just the image quality. There is a very massive mark that appears to be just spider-like vein structure, where presumably the lip muscle would be able to like smile on your jawbone line, like where your cheek is. So the major cheek muscle looks extremely stressed to the point where it's gonna break. It almost looks like it's transparent. You could see a lot of like burst blood vessels, I guess, maybe, or I don't know. Looking at the raw structure of the face, it does look like you can just see through their face a little bit. So maybe the skin is very parched or like some weird things going on. Their eyes are very gray looking for the iris. I don't know what's going on there. But the subject looks very tired. Underneath the lips, it looks like what appears to be just a hole. I don't know. Right where like the start of the soul patch would be. There's no soul patch on this person, but if you had a soul patch, right where the start of it would be, there is one large hole and two like small divot holes surrounding it, which kind of look like parentheses surrounding the large circular hole. No idea what's going on there. On the other side of the cheek, you can't really see it very well, but it looks like the same spider vein things happening. It looks like their teeth are unwashed. Their lips actually look fine. I don't really know. I can't tell. The lighting's kind of obscuring the rest of their face, but there's light at the top of the photo, presumably in this room. Amoeba person. Yeah, very amoeba person looking. I can zoom in on the image very superficially. But yeah, their eyes look very tired, and they do have some eye, like, tiredness lines. Okay, let's read on. 195 was discovered by the double blank year old son of a historian in blank Alabama in late 20 double blank. Mr. Blank's arrest and sentencing for the murder of Redacted was an item of minor interest in local news in the area. The Foundation became interested in Mr. Blank's case when he was admitted to a hospital, at which point the unusual degradation of his skin and organs was noted by Foundation informants in the medical community and traced back to an antebellum home where he had assisted his father in cataloging various items of historical interest. A Foundation team was dispatched to the home and located an open case containing double-blank bottles of 195. Addendum. Historical sources' description of the salesman seemed to agree that one man was blond and unusually tall, while the other had dark hair and walked with a stoop. Both men had strange bright eyes, sick, and wore matching blank, redacted, match current FAC data expunged. I'm guessing like facial, but we just expunge it from there. FAC data expunged. Redacted match current data expunged. Let me try that again. Redacted match current face data expunged remain uncaptured. All personnel are reminded that the captured data expunged VEL 6 priority. Again, another word is cut off, VEL. 6 priority. Euclid, liquid, mind affecting. Sensory transfiguration. Okay. That one's very interesting. It's super, like, all over the place, though. Then we just give, like, a very odd image. Okay, 196. I would hate for that to be the YouTube thumbnail. Item number 196, Object Class Euclid/Keter. Special Containment Procedures. 196 must be kept wholly ignorant of any information regarding the reason for his containment. The subject is to be kept in a 2-room cell inside Site-17. This cell is to be furnished with whatever 196 requests as long as the request does not show any obvious likely lethal use and does not violate any SCP procedure. Subject must cohabit with at least one member of the site's Level 2 security personnel, who must be armed exclusively with non-lethal weaponry. Subject is allowed to freely wander the installation if accompanied by at least one member of Site-17 security personnel. Note that all staff below Level 3 have been told he is a safe class object. 196 has agreed to wear a satellite tracking anklet. Subject was told that removal of this anklet would result in his death, but this is not actually the case. 196 displays no extraordinary physical ability, thus probability of escape is negligible. Description: 196 appears to be a middle-aged male, under 2 meters tall, of African-American descent. He claims to be 47 years old. Subject has black hair and brown eyes. There are no abnormal physical characteristics. Subject displays all basic needs of a normal human being. Subject tested with an IQ of 109, well within normal parameters. Subject's psychological examination indicated that he suffers from institutionalization and Stockholm Syndrome in relation to the Foundation security staff. 196 demonstrates no Euclid type or other abnormal abilities. Dude, he's just like, I'm happy to be here, like, man, when's, like, taco night? Note, I've run the full battery of tests, and the exam says that the guy is normal. Dr. Blank. Addendum 196-01. Those with level 4 security clearance should see document 196-01 for information regarding 196's origin and subsequent Keter classification. In lore context, I mean, if you're just going, dude, this channel, aka me, for this viewing context, we have O5 clearance. In lore context. Level 4 clearance required. Security clearance adequate. Access authorized. Addendum 196-01. Document 196-01. 196 appeared at double blank on single blank 2000 single blank. So 200 single blank. In sight of site double blank. 196 claims he was recruited in blank of 2010 single blank, so 201 single blank, through standard Class D recruitment procedures for testing of SCP triple blank. Subject also claims that his younger self is currently living in another location in blank blank. Genetic identification checks confirm that 196 has encountered Foundation security personnel in the past in an incident at Site-17 on double blank single blank 1960 single blank, so 196 single blank. During that incident, 196 was far older and was killed by SCP security personnel during an attempted break-in at that facility. 196 was, at that time, not known to the Foundation as anything other than a lone human assailant. However, he was found to be carrying SCP triple blank and several purely mundane weapons. He's off his meds. Yeah, and he's like fucking going back in time as his future self, but he's like, dude, but my younger self lives at that time period. My younger self lives in this current day and age. I'm from the future. And we're just like, what? What are you doing? What are you doing? While a Euclid class event of this nature would normally result in an individual being terminated to prevent any potential for a catastrophic paradox, 196's future self is already dead. This means that if he were permitted to die, a catastrophic paradox could occur, damaging or destroying this continuity. 196 must be kept alive until he decides to and successfully manages to escape of his own accord and somehow travels back to experience his own death while carrying SCP triple blank. Holy shit. Note that because of the potential for paradox, 196 must be kept far away from his younger double in blank blank. Additionally, a covert observation team must be permanently attached to 196's younger self to protect his life. This dedicated security force should otherwise not intervene. Failure to permit the timeline from unfolding naturally could result in damaging or destroying this continuity. For these reasons, 196, despite being otherwise mundane, must be carefully monitored and has been classified as a Euclid/Keter class object. This is funny that we were talking about this. The potential of several different viewpoints of time travel. So this is a classic methods. You have like, you can't change anything, you can change anything. But then you have like the interoperable theories of like, the river of time, many worlds. But what if we take it a step further and say you can and cannot change things? There's certain events that happen that are so important, and there are things that you can change but you can't, yada yada yada. But let's take it a step even further from that and say like, you can change like all of humanity existing. But usually, most of the time when you time travel back and try to prevent it, humanity still springs forth, right? It's still like a probabilistic or something. This guy was like, hey, I figured it out, right? And the Foundation was like, nah. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You fucked up hard. So this guy's a classic example of like, we constrained a paradox. Even though you tried to escape it, it's actually a full paradox, and we're just waiting for you to figure it out. So this is an example of like the far-reaching consequences of what happens if we like hybridize all these theories. But there's still like other arenas out here that exist besides this. This is just like the silly version. Where it's like, okay, what if you're your own grandpa, but in this case it's like, you're your own dad. You're yourself. You've instantiated yourself from a younger age to an older age. But you go back and kill your instanton of yourself, your younger self. You should fucking die, in like some classical time travel theories, right? This person has proven that like, through some weird logic, that at least the older version of himself dying causes the aging version of himself to potentially forever exist. And therefore his younger self forever exist. So if the Foundation intervenes and kills him, We could open up another door of time travel logic that, like, is just unexpected. It's not that they're threatening his life and saying, like, hey, you're too smart. They're saying, you fucked up by getting to this point. Because if we kill you now, we've opened up so many fucking recursive cans of worms. We gotta go time travel and grab you from another parallel universe and make you go assassinate yourself. Or make you go grab this object and, like, let us assassinate you. And uh-oh, we fucked up because now there's a parallel universe with you missing. What the fuck goes on over there? Now fucking 50,000 years from now, they're gonna launch war on us because we took you out of the equation. You know, you never know. You never know. I'm too tired to understand this. But, so this is a silly man mode of it. You could argue that, like, River of Time aside, or, like, Hybrid aside, we're saying, like, from all of these instances of math that I posited, we say there's a universe that existed where we can time travel, change everything, but also there's major events that occur that we probably don't want to change. But they're still mutable, right? There's like a guideline that we follow in the river of time, in a greater sea of time, right? And so far we're on like a small branch. If it was like a tree, we're at a sapling. And we get to like choose which way the sapling grows as a slightly larger tree as the wind is blowing. We get to choose, like, if the wind is blowing us south, do we pick, like, okay, we're gonna up the nutrients to cause it to grow a little thicker to, like, brace itself to the southerly winds. Does that make sense? So if we're choosing a direction and time to go with our choices, we say we go north or south, and we brace ourselves to always never go south or whatever. There you go. So we've come to that side too. And we say that, like, we have these viewpoints of time travel, and we still contain this, like, small time traveler, because he doesn't fucking get it. He's being an idiot. And so what I'm saying is that, like, there exists like a river of time within these rivers of time, where you can time travel and do whack shit, and, like, overarching time travel agencies that can go, nah, we're gonna delete that whole universe you modified and make a new branch of time to, like, modify your error. We're saying that even beyond that, there exists, like, we could say that there are power entities that could, like, reset your river of time that you time travel, just to make sure that the continuity of the universe works. Or, like, the overarching multiverse, whatever. We could say they take a slice of your time out if you fucked up, or if, like, you did a really good thing. All other slices of time outside of your time that you did are unimportant, because you're the main character or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Maybe you're like the president of the United States. The point is, we're looking at a much higher perspective. You're putting a lamppost, like, way higher up to shine a light on the desk below, as opposed to the light being, like, right near the surface of the desk. The lamp is way up here now, and we're shining at all the documents on the table. And we're saying, hey, you can time travel in many ways. You can go back and, like, just bring a Luger pistol and shoot your own self 5 minutes ago and still, like, persist in the universe without paradox. We could even say that's the exact same universe if you want. And you'll just keep on living, there's just an extra corpse of you there with a copy Luger pistol. Whatever, throw it in the fucking graveyard and then live a new life. But we go even further and say, man, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. We gotta contain this motherfucker, because he's gonna go kill himself, like, when he's younger. This motherfucker thinks he's smarter than all of us. And back in 1969, his, like, 89-year-old self tried to steal an object and we killed him. And so now, him at 47, he thinks he's a hyper genius. He's like, yeah, I got this figured out. I could go steal that object and go kill myself in the past, like I had planned to. But I guess I'll wait until I'm 89. And they're just like, okay. So what happened here was this guy willfully wrote himself into that line right there is perfect. Whoever wrote this, I think that was like the tag to decide on how to write the rest of the story. Where the fuck was this? I fucking love this one. This is hilarious as shit. This might as well be a joke. Subject tested with an IQ of 109. That's not relevant. It's just like the same paragraph. Well within normal parameters. The subject's psychological examination indicated that he suffers from institutionalization and Stockholm Syndrome in relation to the Foundation security staff. My guy wrote himself into the canon. He's just like, I want to sit there in the Foundation every week and enjoy Taco Tuesday with you guys. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. I'm doing like the fucking Fortnite dance right now. I'm Fortnite dancing. Because this guy like got all of his desires. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Alive Euclid Humanoid Keter Paradox Sapient Temporal. Holy shit, that one threw me for a loop. Literally and metaphorically. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. 197. Item number 197. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. Strike through. 197 is Strike-through. 197 is maintained on-site by local research team Beta 5 Green Thumbs. Plants may not be removed from 197 without permission from the plant, Dr. Kingsley, and appropriate documentation. Plants which are removed from 197 must be monitored and retrieved if necessary on strike-through. Just love that you say, I'm too tired to understand this, and I go into a much deeper time travel theory. Like, hold on, what if we, like, take another fucking 38 steps back? And we look at this from, like, a fucking Sedenian, you know? I don't know why I've been thinking about that recently, Sedenian. Every Sedenian is a linear combination of the unient Sedenians, etc., which forms the basis of the vector. There's the math. Here's what it is. It's like a fucking hypercube. Sedenian Phanotesseract Triad equals hyperplanes, Octonian, real E0 vertex of the Sedenian example. Here's all the vertices. Here's all the vertexes. There you go. Map that out. It's just got E0 to E15 to E negative 15. EI to EJ to E negative 15 to E15. Yeah. There you go. There's something really confusing. To maintain secrecy, 197 has been emptied and abandoned. Under cooperation with local city officials, the building and many other nearby structures have been condemned. On-site security are to check the premises on a weekly basis to physically remove any plant material. The use of fire is not recommended unless it is necessary to facilitate the total removal of any vegetation found within 197. Herbicides are to be applied on a monthly basis to discourage any future attempt at growth. Description: 197 is a plant nursery and greenhouse located at blank, single blank, 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 triple blank. Currently, the site is abandoned, although previous containment procedures were to maintain the location as a nursery. Most of the anomalous properties of 197 are located within the glass structure of the greenhouse, although research conducted at the time of the site's abandonment suggests that 197 has a wide sympathetic influence on the surrounding area, which has displayed a level of deterioration equal to 197 itself. Okay. Is it like a reality-affecting object? Organisms within the kingdom Plantae that grow within or are introduced to the greenhouse take on additional characteristics, including self-awareness, sensory awareness, sapience, and capacity for language and mobility, despite a lack of nervous system, brain, sensory organs, vocal cords, or musculature. That's really cool. Living plants. Organisms also typically have an increased growth rate and an elongated lifespan. Angiosperms that flower only at night or for short periods of time will be in a perpetual state of bloom while within 197. Organisms removed from 197 cease to display anomalous properties, but will retain their hardiness and overall health. Are we just living in like a human animator? Organisms which lose their sapience upon removal from 197 will regain it upon reintroduction with no change in personality. With few exceptions, these organisms do not appear to greatly value their sentience, and are often eager to leave 197 despite being unable to experience the world outside as anything other than a typical member of their species. Huh. They don't really care for sapient life. All organisms animated by 197 displayed positive personality traits and affection for Foundation personnel and other forms of life. Even carnivorous plants introduced as part of Experiment 197-63 Seymour. 197 duty was often used as both a reward and therapy for agents and researchers who have concluded a stressful assignment or experienced a traumatizing event, as interactions with animated organisms were almost universally described as relaxing. I fucking love this. This is a great one. Under the direction of the late Dr. Kingsley, 197 testing involved distribution of organisms cultivated within 197 to the public at large. A positive influence upon the poor urban community around 197 was noted immediately, with both a reduction in crime and an increase to the average standard of living that has equally been reversed following the condemnation of 197. Dr. Kingsley theorized that this was a result of 197 itself creating a cycle of nurturing symbiosis between the community and plant life. So not only does it really motivate people to work on the plants in the area and like revitalize the culture, but it makes the plants come to life and start talking to you. That's amazing. I love that idea. Yeah. I would love to visit this place. Addendum. Testing and maintenance of 197 was halted following Incident 197-A644. Dahlia Kingsley's decapitated body was found within the greenhouse, her severed head cradled within an empty flower pot, being held by an ivy that had been present at the site since the time of its discovery. Dahlia was the daughter of lead researcher Dr. Kingsley and a trained botanist who was alone inside 197 at the time of her death. This was the first instance of any act of violence on the part of organisms raised within 197. The ivy plant responsible for the killing compared its action to picking a pretty flower and displayed no remorse, although it expressed concern over Dr. Kingsley's reaction and well-being. All organisms distributed from 197 were retrieved and eradicated. Those within 197 were eradicated upon removal from the site, with the exception of the ivy data expunged. Interesting. So it seems like maybe the culture of plants in there were talking to each other, and the dangerous ivy decided to take action. Maybe it was premeditated by the ivy itself, and maybe it just went feral. I don't know. This is a very tragic end to like such an interesting story. Building plant safe sapient. Arguably unsafe. But very, very interesting. I like it. Maybe go in for therapy, like therapeutic reasons with another officer, like an armed guard. Another agent. That's crazy. That I want more elaboration on that one. The world of like living animated plants, and not only that, but like higher thinking plants, to the point where some of them kill and some don't, but they're capable of like, you know, speech, of course, but clearly like murder. So other things too. The court of plant law. 198. Item number 198, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. 198 is located in a secure room of Site Double Blank, with armed guards posted outside to prevent any unauthorized access. 198 is to be stored under 24-hour video surveillance in a sealed and locked case, 0.5 meters by 0.5 meters by 0.5 meters, and the key kept in a secured location accessible only to those personnel with Level 3 clearance and above. Under no circumstances are any Foundation personnel to handle 198. All handling of 198 is to be done via remote robotic means or by D-Class test subjects only. D-Class, dude! In light of Incident 198A and Incident 198B, Object Class has been elevated to Euclid, and Containment Protocol 198 has been established. Very concise and quick with that. 198's case must now be kept on a digital scale attached to an alarm system with redundant backups for power in its secure room. Any deviations in weight will indicate a breach, and site supervisors must immediately enact Containment Protocol 198 detailed below. Description: 198 has taken numerous forms since coming into Foundation possession in 19 . Since acquisition, 198 has been observed to have had dozens of different forms, including a styrofoam cup, blank brand glass beer bottle, blank and blank hyphen blank brand aluminum soda cans, an oversized shot glass that read 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor, a plastic water bottle with a blank label partially peeled off, and data expunged. These forms always appear partially filled with the expected liquid a vessel of that type would contain. Currently, 198 appears as an ordinary white porcelain coffee mug with blue vertical stripes evenly spaced around its exterior. There are no visible manufacturer markings or otherwise remarkable details about its appearance in its current form. The object has resisted all attempts at destruction or sampling for further analysis. When inactive, 198 can hold the expected 240 milliliters, 8 fluid ounces, of liquid that any standard coffee mug would hold. Anomalous behavior does not manifest until a live human being grasps 198 to hold it. Approximately 2 to 5 seconds after the SCP is held, it will instantly bond itself through unknown, albeit painful means to the handler's hand or hands. Test subjects have reported the pain of bonding with 198 as a searing or fiery sensation, though no heat can be detected by outside observers or instruments. The use of gloves or other barriers between the object and the hand does not prevent the bonding process so long as the subject can still grip 198. Extensive testing has revealed that the bond appears to be at the molecular level and is permanent until the death of its holder. To date, no means have been found to break the bond, including cutting or severing the fingers or hand of the holder, as any wounds below the wrist of the test subject heal instantaneously. Further proposed testing of the range of healing up the handler's arm is pending approval. Once bonded, any liquid inside 198 will disappear, and the container will inexplicably begin to fill from the bottom up with a fluid or a semi-solid material, stopping only once it reaches the top of the container. The liquid or semi-solid is different for each holder, but it has to date been a bodily fluid or human excretion in each test instance. Such instances have included human saliva, sweat, blood, bile, mucus, urine, feces, and data expunged, as well as combinations of 2 or more of these. When 198 has filled, the holder will undergo rapid dehydration and or emaciation, becoming increasingly malnourished to the point of death, which usually occurs within 24 hours if nothing is done to prevent it. Ingestion of standard foods, liquids, or IV-supplied nutrients does nothing to reverse or slow this process. Testing has revealed that the only means by which the subject can gain nourishment is by consuming the contents of 198. However, the constant rate of dehydration and emaciation remains the same forcing the test subject to consume vast quantities of the excretions almost constantly to remain alive. As the contents are consumed, or as is often the case, dumped out of the container, 198 will continue to refill itself automatically. Test subjects have lasted as long as 70 hours by consuming the excretions before finally succumbing to exhaustion or refusing to consume any more of the contents, which invariably leads to death. It's kind of like a how long do you want to live mechanism. You get to choose now. You've been upgraded to like the fucking piss jug. Congratulations. It's probably the only one I'd be able to tolerate. Upon expiration of the handler, the bond with 198 is broken and the object can once again be manipulated. In approximately 75% of test instances, 198 will disappear once the bond is broken and reappear almost instantly on a nearby flat surface, seemingly with a preference for tables or shelves within the same room, and take on a new form. It's just a cold-blooded killer. Approximately 90% of these reappearances of 198 are within the general vicinity of the now deceased handler, but several times the object has been observed to reappear in nearby containment rooms, observation rooms, and in one case, data expunged. Due to the catastrophic nature of that incident, extreme care is to be taken when in proximity to 198's containment or testing room. Foundation personnel are urged not to bring with them any beverages or containers within 100 meters of 198's containment room, even when the object is not actively being researched. Why do I feel like we're talking about adjacency for like where the cup can go? It went to a nearby table in like a chamber, in a research office, in like another facility, in another parallel universe, and they had to show up and tell us to take it the fuck back and leave them alone and never talk about them or to them ever again. Yeah, we really, looks at watch, we really badly fucked up on that one. That parallel universe really badly didn't want to talk to us, and we sent like the blood, piss, poop, cum jug object to their universe, and they got mad and sent it back. 198 was acquired by the Foundation from an underground bunker in Blank, Germany, after the bunker's accidental discovery by construction workers. Reports of strange activity and deaths among the construction company regarding this bunker brought the object to Foundation attention. Agent Blank, upon responding to the location, discovered several deceased and grossly emaciated corpses, both recent and some quite old. Unaware of the nature of their deaths or the SCP in question, Agent Blank sealed off the area and awaited backup. It was then that the nature of the SCP object revealed itself as the agent mistakenly grabbed what appeared to be an unopened bottle of water from a table at the construction site. Backup arrived to find an extremely agitated Agent Blank vomiting and struggling to remove from his hand a cup full of fresh data expunged. Agent Blank later self-terminated during location cleanup. Just couldn't handle it, huh? Didn't even want to... This might have even been analyzed the moment everything was done. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We might have not drank it, but... Incident 198A. Date, double blank, 20 double blank. Location, site, double blank. Location, site, double blank. Description: at approximately 2:15 p.m., researcher John Blank, who was working in an observation room adjacent to 198's containment room, reached for what he thought to be his thermos of iced tea, only to discover he was firmly bonded to what appeared to be 198. Immediately, researcher Blank notified site supervisors who, upon inspection of containment room 198, discovered that 198 was indeed missing from its case. At least 3 months had passed since the last experiment had conducted on 198 without incident. Researcher Blank was interviewed by site staff and was kept alive by consuming the contents of 198 for 31 hours, before finally refusing to drink the contents any longer. Incident 198B. Date double blank 20 double blank. Location site double blank. Description: at approximately 8 a.m., security guard Albert Blank stopped to get a cup of coffee from a break room, later determined to be located 3 floors underneath and 2 hallways over from 198's containment room. The guard found himself bonded to 198 when he attempted to grab a bottle of dairy creamer from the break room refrigerator. Once again, site supervisors were notified of a potential containment breach and discovered 198's case to be empty. Guard Blank was interviewed and chose to self-terminate, rather than consume any of the contents of 198. Immediately after Incident 198B, site supervisors determined that the object class should be raised to Euclid, and Containment Protocol 198 was created to handle future containment breaches. Containment Protocol 198. Containment Protocol 198 is to be executed immediately by site supervisors after a containment breach of 198 is detected. In the event that the alarm attached to 198's scale is sounded, Site double blank is to be locked down and all personnel are to be... In the event... Containment Protocol 198. Containment Protocol 198 is to be executed immediately by site supervisors after a containment breach of 198 is detected. In the event that the alarm attached to 198's scale is sounded, Site double blank is to be locked down, and all personnel are to be immediate... Fuck. In the event that the alarm attached to 198's scale is sounded, Site double blank is to be locked down, and all personnel are to immediately avoid any beverage containers and evacuate the facility until 198 can be located and properly secured. For test logs, please see Experiment Log 198A. We should probably change the verbiage on Containment Protocol 198. Any reference to can might be a may. Yeah, can is just gonna make us think a can of soda. Yeah, can be a stout can. I need a can of soda. I need a can of milk. Can of milk. I need a can of water. Euclid. Artifact. Liquid. Transfiguration. Experiment Log 198A. Pretty short. Experiment log of Dr. Blank on 198, testing various manifestations of its anomalous properties. Notes: testing on 198 is to be done outside of its containment room in a secure experimentation room. 198 is to be placed via robotic means on a plane table in the center of the otherwise empty room. During experimentation, all Foundation personnel are to remotely observe, either via surveillance camera or adjacent observation room behind a secure plexiglass window. At no time should any Foundation personnel enter the experimentation room while experiments are being conducted. Armed guards and cleanup crews will be posted outside the experimentation room and will not enter until the test subject has expired. The more I read stuff like this, the more I'm like, this is just Rassilon's war games. Some accursed Foundation from hundreds, we could even say a year. 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 100,000 years, a million, whatever. Some society in the future is toying with us. They have all of these crazy Minecraft mod objects. You just put it in the anvil and you give it some wacky ability that kills people. But it gets sent back in time for us to enjoy and analyze. Enjoy, quote unquote. It fucking kills us. But it teaches our scientists something. And the people of the future just laugh. They laugh. Yeah? Rassilon's war games bullshit, where he just makes a million fucking cursed death objects. And then fucking brings people from all times to use them in his crazy war games. Yeah? Okay. 198 is to be placed via robotic means on a plane table in the center of the otherwise empty room. During experimentation, all Foundation personnel are to remotely observe either via surveillance camera or adjacent observation room behind a secure plexiglass window. At no time should any Foundation personnel enter the experimentation room while experiments are being conducted. Armed guards and cleanup crews will be posted outside the experimentation room and will not enter until the test subject has expired. Experiment 198A1. Date double blank, quadruple blank. Procedure. Object is observed to have the form of a small glass of water. Class D personnel instructed to enter the room and touch 198 with his finger, but ordered not to hold or pick up the object. Result: no bonding takes place and Class D personnel is unaffected. Experiment 192A2. Date double blank, quadruple blank. Procedure. Same Class D personnel is instructed to pick up 198. Results: Class D personnel Class D personnel screams in surprise as the bonding process takes place. Test subject immediately begins to try and pry 198 from his hand. Test subject ordered to calm down and describe the contents of 198. Dr. Blank, please describe the contents of the object in your hand. Test subject, what the blank is going on? I can't get it off. Liquid is seen spilling from 198 as the test subject flails around. Dr. Blank, yes, we are aware of the situation. Please calm down and describe the contents of the object in your hand. D-Class personnel is seen to cautiously sniff the contents of 198. Test subject, is that blank? For reference, this is 4 blanks. Oh god, that's disgusting, man. Test subject stumbles slightly and falls to one knee at this point. Doc, I don't feel so good, man. Dr. Blank, please describe what you're feeling right now. Test subject, I feel weak, tired, thirsty too. What's going on? Can I get some water, man? Dr. Blank, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. But perhaps the contents in your hand. Test subject, are you blank kidding me, man? No blank way. Dr. Blank, suit yourself. Suit yourself, don't drink the shit in your hand. Approximately 2 hours into the experiment, the test subject is observed to curse loudly before gulping down the contents of 198. Test subject periodically drinks from 198 until finally succumbing to exhaustion, expiring 29 hours into the experiment. Subsequent autopsy determines the contents of the test subject's stomach. Subsequent autopsy determines the contents of the test subject's stomach to be mostly human urine. DNA profile on the urine came back inconclusive and with no known match in our database. Upon death of the test subject, 198 unbonded disappeared and returned to the table in the form of a large, half-filled plastic pitcher of what appears to be ice and lemonade. Is laughing. Experiment 198A3. Date double blank, quadruple blank. Procedure. Class D personnel instructed to enter a room and don surgical gloves, placed on the table next to 198. Once the test subject is wearing the gloves, subject is instructed to pick up 198, still in lemonade pitcher form, and pour herself a glass. Results. Test subject is observed to use both hands to lift the pitcher to pour a drink. Once again, Class D personnel shouts in surprise as the bonding process takes place despite the gloves and appears to have both hands bonded to 198. Test subject is highly agitated and clearly in pain. Test subject, ow! Ow, 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 ow! It burned me. Dr. Blank, it would appear that both of your hands are stuck to the container. Is that the case? Test subject, yeah. Does it look like I'm not stuck? Test subject is visibly straining to pull her hands apart from 198. Dr. Blank, can you remove your hands from the gloves? Test subject, no, they're stuck to this damn thing. Test subject pauses mid-sentence and stares at the pitcher in her hand. Seconds later, test subject is seen vomiting violently and falling to her knees. A brownish, semi-solid mass spills onto the floor from 198. Dr. Blank, can you please describe the contents of the pitcher, please? Test subject, blank, 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 with an exclamation after every blank. Shit, shit, shit. Test subject continued vomiting for approximately 10 minutes before collapsing to the floor. Test subject became uncooperative at this point and would not respond to the researchers' requests. Security guards are instructed to enter the experimentation room and terminate test subject. Testing concluded that the substance in question was human feces. Again, the DNA profile of this substance was inconclusive and matches our database. Upon death of the test subject, 198 unbonded and remained in its lemonade pitcher form, once again half filled with what appeared to be lemonade and ice but did not teleport back to the table surface. Huh. Maybe because it was being held by two spots, like held in their hands. So that seems to be the solution. If you have this thing, you're just gonna lose an arm. That's the only way. Because if you try to cut like the wrist, it'll heal. So you're losing an arm, or like part of your arm. Experiment supplement. That was pretty weird, if not kind of interesting, just very odd. Okay. 199, Object Class Plant. Containment Class Euclid. There's an image. The caption for the image is just SCP-199. The name of the image is fern.jpg. It appears to just be a plant. If anything, it looks more like a wild clover. But yeah, it could be a fern. It's a very verdant green plant. You can see some very like deep greens in some of its leaves. I don't really know what to say. It's in the foreground you can see part of the leaves and I don't know what it would be. Smaller branches, I guess. It's a very verdant green tree, or whatever this plant is. In the background you can see just slightly blurry more foliage. It's just a plant. Special containment procedures. A garden of 199 has been built at Site 19 for research and containment. The garden is kept in a ventilated containment unit with artificial light suitable for plant growth and an automatic watering system. The ceiling is covered with an electrified grate capable of destroying instances of 199-2. The entire chamber is to be surrounded with a Faraday cage to prevent emission of 199-3. Instances of 199 or 199-2 found outside of containment are to be destroyed with fire or pesticides. Description: 199 is a species of fern within the Hymenophyllaceae family. 199 is tangentially related to filmy ferns, but is more tolerant to temperature, humidity, pollution, and external damage. The rhizomes of the plants can attach to and grow on most solid surfaces. 199's appearance is similar of that of Thalos liverworts, but its fronds are unique to its species. The fronds of 199 will form into bladders approximately 10 centimeters in diameter, designated 199-2. Eventually, they will fill with hydrogen gas generated by 199, detach from the main plant, and drift into the air. 199-2 will eventually float at 1 mile above sea level and begin to ripen. During this period, 199-2 will emit 199-3 at an initial rate of 1 signal per hour, steadily increasing as 199-2 ripens. Once 199-2 is ripe, it will burst, releasing its contents. In most cases, 199-2 is empty, and its explosion will not have any consequences. Occasionally, the explosion of 199-2 will release seeds that grow into new instances of 199. 199-3 refers to radio signals produced by 199-2. All radio signals consist of a high-pitched male voice speaking in Mandarin Chinese, giving analysis reports consisting of observations made from 199-2 and status reports of 199-2 itself. Analysis of 199-2 has shown that neither the source of the voice nor the radio signals exist, as most instances of 199-2 are empty. 199 seems to thrive in polluted environments, implying that it is adapted to grow in heavily populated areas. In addition, 199 is resistant to most pesticides. 199 is most commonly seen growing in chimneys, gardens of large cities, and inside of industrial factories. 199 was originally discovered after residents of Xi'an, China, reported balloon-like objects colliding with hotels and interference with radio devices. The source of 199-2 was found to be a patch of it within the center of the city. Instances of 199 have since been discovered in several large cities, most notably New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Beijing, and Tokyo. So this was either an experiment in satellite genetic engineering. We wanted some spacefaring propagating vehicle that is also a plant-based biological organism, or this thing came from just fucking somewhere, and whatever its status reporting, it just learned Chinese, I guess. Analysis of 199-3. Input level 2 credentials were 05. Access granted. From 09/12/2017 to 09/19/2017, large-scale analysis of 199-3 was conducted by the Foundation. Large containment cell number 45 at Site 9 was temporarily converted into a simulated urban area. 5 instances of 199 were moved to the area for testing. The following is a transcript of 199-3 transmissions, as well as notes in italics. This is Staffman Foxtail. Launch successful. Entering watching mode. Transcript of 199-3 after launch of 199-2. Name and rank vary per instance. Targets found. Beginning following mode. Transcript of 199-3 after floating above simulated civilians. Targets performing clumping, engaging. Targets entering phase, engaging. Transcript of 199-3 after floating above a gathering of simulated civilians. So it's a hard to recover, self-propagating reconnaissance vehicle. Engaging in Armageddon. Transcript of 199-3 after floating above a gathering for 2 minutes. Armageddon failed, disengaging. Transcript of 199-3 after floating above a gathering for 5 minutes. It is unknown what would occur if Armageddon was successful, so there was not enough aggregated for whatever procedure to instantiate, I'm assuming. Evasive drift initiated, course moved. Obstacle encountered, moving from course. Transcript of 199-3 while avoiding building. So it begins like a searching pattern, I guess. And because this was a simulation, it's probably doing very trained operations. Single target engaged in protection list, retreating. Transcript of 199-3 after floating above a member of D-Class personnel disguised as a New York citizen on a balcony. So it's not confirming whether or not it can see through a disguise, it's just saying it's a civilian doing a civilian action. In fact, it's doing a dangerous action. It's on top of a balcony, but it's fine. Protectionless. Single target engaged in that of protection standing by. Transcript of 199-3 after floating above a member of D-Class personnel disguised as a New York citizen on a balcony while the balcony had flowers. So it views pretty much any object as like a weapon. Non-target found without that of protection, colored blue. Transcript of 199-3 after floating above a balcony with flowers without a civilian. Color change depending on type of flower. Non-target found without that of protection colored blue. So this is kind of like its vector acquisition. Like whatever, like view range, viewfinder, like target, whatever fucking bullshit buzzwords you want to use. Non-target found without that of protection, colored blue. So this is a multifaceted sentence. It says it's not a target for its like mission acquisition or whatever. It's not a vector for it, like its mission or its goal. It found an object without that of protection. It's saying it's either the object, the non-target, which it's either an object or a person, but it's like not a target, does not have a weapon, or it is without an operator that has a weapon, right? Colored blue, it just describes it, I guess. Standing position recovered, entering malign phase. After this was recorded, 199-2 instances actively avoided balconies. Huh. So... Huh. It probably has something to do with reconnaissance and also, like, areas that it should propagate. Unintelligible, the Paragon. Unintelligible. Emitted by a contained instance of 199-2 while floating above Site 19. So this is like a very useful object, in fact. This is kind of like a lore object. This is your Legend of Zelda Gossip Stone. We took this thing to Site 19, a place where we could probably fuck up hard if we took this thing, but this also doesn't really seem like it's going to cause any issues. So we took it to this very important place. We tried to see what message it would broadcast. It calls this place the Paragon. Alright. Payload ready for deployment soon. Standing by. 199-3 as 199-2 became close to explosion. Sorry, it looks like we have Mayday here. Please avoid future infertility. 199-3 before explosion, when 199-2 was empty. Okay. It's just commands for the home base entity. We have a complete deployment ready. Pleasure to serve you, sir. 199-3 before explosion, when 199-2 had spores. Okay. If you could tell them I love them. One instance of 199-2 emitted this while idle. It appeared to be cut off mid-sentence. If you could tell them I love them. One instance of 199-2 emitted this while idle and appeared to be cut off mid-sentence. Context unknown. So either vestiges of like high-level consciousness, a society within this, and that's the reason for like its motility, it's like mode of propagation or whatever, or just like some random information. But the fact that it calls Site 19 the Paragon is interesting. Many variations and idle phrases cut out of this document. Please consult testing log 199-number 023 for an unabridged log. Addendum. On 09/21/2018, residents of Istanbul, Turkey, reported a collective cloud of over 50 instances of 199-2. Before a task force could respond to this, all instances simultaneously burst. Instead of seeds, 199-2 released an acidic slime that caused severe damage to a road intersection and created three casualties. An ongoing disinformation campaign was released crediting the source of 199-2 to be a bioterrorist attack. The source of this phenomena was identified to be a patch of 199 on the outskirts of Istanbul. The task force attempted to use fire to destroy these plants. However, 199 reacted with the fire and exploded into acidic green slime, injuring 5 Foundation agents. Following destruction of the patch, analysis of the soil revealed that 199 had been planted there 4 weeks earlier. This new variant of 199 has been tentatively designated 199B. 199B has also been reported in Mumbai, Lagos, and Mexico City. Near the patch found in Lagos, a partially biodegraded plastic seed packet was recovered buried underground. The front of the packet had a symbol resembling an eye with a red iris, with a green substance covering a third of the eye. The back of the packet had a symbol strongly resembling the Foundation shield logo, but with the arrows pointing away from the shield and 3 vertical bars covering the shield's inner circle. Interesting, like a counter-op. Anti-Foundation operatives. Airborne, alive, biohazard, Euclid, plant, rewrite, species, transmission. Feels like more of a message, like a flora-fauna message. Okay, 200. Last one for the night. Kind of short, I think, maybe. Item number 200, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. 200 requires a temperate, secure environment large enough to house the 1.68 by 2 meter bed frame it is affixed to. The room should be equipped with a large viewing window, such that 200 may be observed with minimal disturbance. In fact, when not being directly tested, 200 should be left undisturbed. Particular care should be taken when collecting samples to avoid compromising the delicate outer shell of 200. An automated mister should be set up to apply a fine mist to 200 once a day. If 200 appears to be drying out, an additional mist can be applied, but care should be taken not to allow it to become too moist. Due to the uncertain nature of 200, the door to its containment area should be kept locked at all times, and direct interaction is restricted to clearance level 2 staff as a precaution. Description: 200 is contained within a chrysalis measuring 172.4 centimeters in length from stem to tip, attached to a standard queen bed frame and mattress. The chrysalis is a mottled brown in color. An analysis shows it to consist of several layers of silk, woven in such a way as to be coarse to the touch. The silk layers appear to be held together by data expunged. 200 itself was last seen as a 13-year-old Caucasian male, measured at 152 centimeters in height and weighing 168.73 kilograms. It retreated into the chrysalis on double blank 20 double blank, and researchers have been unable to explain how the child produced the silk to construct its encasement. Ultrasound tests have been unable to detect any solids within the chrysalis. However, fluid samples extracted from within reveal human DNA matching that of the child in question. It appears that the child has data expunged. Samples of the data expunged used to bind the chrysalis are also a DNA match for 200. 200 lies dormant a majority of the time, although it may be observed twitching occasionally, particularly if it is startled by sudden contact or a loud noise. However, in its current state, it poses no threat. Notes: 200 was retrieved from blank blank USA on double blank 20 double blank, approximately 28 hours after chrysalis presented. According to medical records, 200 followed a normal pattern of human development until age 12. At this point, the child began to display a voracious appetite and rapidly gained weight over the course of the following year. Dr. Blank, a local pediatrician, was unable to identify a cause for the abrupt change in metabolism. The child's mother, concerned about his weight gain, attempted to restrict his diet. 200 escaped into the surrounding woods. When authorities located the boy 72 hours later, he had doubled his weight on a diet of data expunged. After being returned home, 200 developed its chrysalis. Following retrieval, Class A amnestics were administered to the child's mother, Dr. Blank, and local authorities. Local community was led to believe that data expunged to prevent concern about the boy's whereabouts and well-being. Addendum 200-01. According to the most recent testing, 200 DNA has been displaying a number of mutations. While ultrasound tests reveal no solids, Dr. Blank hypothesizes that the child may be developing into a data expunge. This hypothesis remains controversial and requires further testing and observation. In light of these developments, request to reclassify 200 under Euclid has been approved, and 24/7 observation shifts are being implemented to watch for 200's emergence. The chrysalid will emerge as the grand butterfly. Alive, Euclid, humanoid. Well, that's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed The Great Return. I had a great blast with this song, ending this off too. We end this with a question. Do you think aliens are real? Or do you think what's going on in Congress is just bullshit? Do you believe? Do you want to believe? Do you not believe? It's a question. Do you believe in aliens? Well, I think a further question is, do you believe in the Foundation? But hey, thanks for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. That's gonna do it. Peace out, homies. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.